First round pick out of Arizona. Straight to Talkin Yanks.
Former guest. Hello and welcome to Talkin Yanks player profile and projection. We are talking about the mustachioed left-handed catcher, Austin Wells, brought to you by SeatGeek. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're enjoying the daily uploads, please subscribe and rate and review and thumbs up and comment and all that. I'm excited for this one, Jake, because I like catchers. And I like lefty hitters.
Okay.
And I like potential.
Keep going.
And I like former guests of the show.
One more.
And I like mustaches.
Let's do another.
And I like bravado.
Well, I've got you two quick ones.
And I like youth.
I could do without it.
Yeah.
Jim, this is an exciting one.
That's what I was
Sneakily.
trying to tell you, yeah.
Sneakily. Yeah, I was trying to get it out of you, but you never really got there. Austin Wells.
Mm-hmm.
With
Austin Kenneth Wells, a.k.a. Dub.
what our catching position has been in previous years. We saw the Yankees go from Gary Sanchez to complete 180 or 360. 360 means you end up in the same spot, so 180.
If you're good enough.
That they were going defensive and kind of strictly framing with Higgy and Trevi. That was kind of both of their party
Run
tricks.
prevention.
Run prevention. Stealing strikes and calling hike. Trevi won the Platinum Glove. Higgy, the framing king and cool collected. Austin Wells gets called up the same time as Jason Dominguez. They get called up for that Houston series. Things that you remember and forget from last year. One of his first interviews that I saw from this year was getting called up with Dominguez in Houston. That was a highlight, and it's like, oh damn, that's forever.
That was a highlight. I think of the season. I think of that game.
And
not initially, but I searched for it.
His numbers, it's such a small sample size. He ends up getting 70 at-bats, 75 plate appearances. He does finish on a little bit of a heater. His final 8 games, he went 11 for 31 with 4 homers, 355 batting average, a couple walks in there too. So it's I don't know. He gave us enough to chew on right at the end, and I was going through some of the hits. A couple big names. He went opposite field homer against Jordan Romano in a 0-0 game to open that up. So opposite field in Toronto. And then he had a couple nice ones off of Bednar, the Pirates closer. He got his first home run, and then it kind of opened up the gates. His first home run was a nuke, that second deck at the stadium. That, in theory, he is on the better side of the platoon. Left-handed hitter. And I don't know, man. It feels like there was so much else that got priority. Whether you go prospect-wise and it's like Volpe and Dominguez, whether you go Yankees-wise and it's like Soto, Stroman, that Austin Wells being penciled in as at least playing 50% of the catcher's games, I don't know. I feel like the hype train has just hit, and I think it's starting to go even more. Fangraphs just came out with their top 100 prospects, and they have Austin Wells above Dominguez. They have him top 50, and they had Dominguez at 51 or something. So, I don't know. I think an Austin Wells hype train is kind of starting.
What's interesting about Austin Wells is he's much skinnier in the box than you expect him to be.
Yes.
Because the catchers are usually stocky, and the jerseys used to not help. They might now with the new ones. And he's got high hands.
Yeah.
So he's actually looks stretched out and slim in there. Yeah.
He's
and next to
tall
Dominguez.
for a catcher.
Yeah. So that's one fun thing.
Let's not talk Dominguez's height.
He's
Who?
out of mind.
That's good.
I liked his at-bats. I liked his approach. I think it was a breath of fresh air after watching Volpe, Oswaldo, IKF, Donaldson, Hicks, you name it last year of approaches and at-bats. I was like, God.
Yeah.
He was one of the ones that came up that was a breath of fresh air. I was like, oh, you're kind of seeing pitches. I remember in his first day against Verlander, he was seeing pitches, working counts, spin on a pitch and attacked it. And so another one that I thought was fun to watch, he didn't see many lefties at all, but he hit the righties decently. And you're right. Not only did he get better as the season went, individually, Jake, if you look at his numbers as the game goes on, like his first at bat of the game, not good. If in Baseball Reference they split it by innings, innings 1 through 3, and pretty even amount of plate appearances in all three categories here. In innings 1 through 3, 280 OPS. He's just trying to get the starting pitcher through. Right. Not good. Innings 4 through 6, 896 OPS with a 280 batting average. That's pretty good.
Sure.
And then innings 7 through 8, when you probably see in a reliever, 1.14 OPS plus. So there's a very small sample size that I'm dissecting into smaller sample sizes, but I'm using it to tell you good stuff about him.
And I like that.
Yeah. Versus reliever, the first time he sees a reliever, 308 batting average, 367 on base, 1 dot OPS. So in your face relievers, you're sink.
Can I tell you something I kind of like?
Yeah.
He's never really struggled at a level. If you look at his minor league stats, he's pretty much had outside of double A for a chunk, but if you combine, these are his career numbers in the minor leagues. Low A, 871 OPS, high A, 912 OPS, double A, 113 games, the most he's played at any level, and 803 OPS. And then triple A, where it's, kind of crazy as part of last season, he only played 33 games career triple A. And he had an 802 OPS, 254, 349, which are very similar to his double A numbers. So, I don't know, like you're saying, even the scouting report on young Austin Wells when the Yankees drafted him was like, this guy's a hitter. We'll see if he can be a catcher, or maybe he's like a first base corner outfield guy. He's gotten called up as a catcher. He looked fine as a catcher. Like, that's kind of what a lot of Yankee fans were watching towards the end of the season. Didn't feel like we lost too much behind the plate. And if he can be a threat as a lefty hitting catcher in the bottom half of the lineup, that's going to be refreshing to, hoping that Higgy or Trevi are in like one of their, like in a 8-game hot streak,
I just want him to be the starting catcher. Did I say that?
Wow.
I do. Okay. I love Trevi. It'd be nice to have a guy that can hit from the left side, getting majority of the at-bats.
Yeah.
And like to have a young rookie who's got 5 years of control giving us like hope and promise.
Right.
So that's the other thing to it. Not having to go back to the market, free agent market, re-sign Trevi, kind of giving up on power from the position for the foreseeable future. Like, if this dude can catch and give you some pop, the future window gets like way bigger and exciting. So he is, he has the ability to unlock like a very fun door if he has a good season. So that's why I think I'm so hopeful.
Can be like a big pivot point to the year.
Yeah. Like at one point, like, oh shit, this dude's, he's it.
Right. And in the scope of what kind of year are the Yankees going to have? Are they going to have a scraping to get in the wild card? Are they going to get, can we win the East? Can we have World Series dreams? Like, the bottom of our lineup, depending what we see come the end of the year, is going to dictate a chunk of that feeling. Like, if you look at the bottom of the lineup and it's like, wow, Volpe's taking a step, Wells is a threat, and then, like, who knows who could be down there? Verdugo, Glaber, like, compared to last season, that would be like a top of the lineup for us. So, yeah, if you want to start dreaming big, if Austin Wells can be, and I think that's the other thing that's kind of exciting, is that it's not, sometimes we set unrealistic goals, and it's a little bit of fandom. If Austin Wells, and I think I need to give Dan Rourke a little bit of credit on this. If he has like a 750 OPS, like a tick above league average, which, that is a decent ask from a catcher, but supposed to be an offensive catcher, that, the Yankees should be putting in good opportunities. Like, if there's a tough lefty, Austin Wells shouldn't really be seeing that at bat. I think we'll love Austin Wells, and that's not a crazy bar to set.
I wanted to look up catchers last year. How many had that? You know what I mean? Because I really don't even know. And I feel like it could be shockingly
I'd be curious
low.
which ones that did, were they playing every day?
So you have to toggle
That
because it
lefty
can't really be
mashers.
qualified. But what's a good amount of at bats to toggle this? 200.
200 is what I probably would have tossed out there. Start with.
Can I give a little fun fact while you chop things up?
Well, I have it.
Okay.
What was the OPS you wanted? 750.
750.
Okay. 15 catchers last year did that. That had 200. Minimum 200.
The league be
200's not
hitting.
much.
We just didn't feel it as Yankee fans last year.
Yeah. No Yankee. That's wild. Gary Sanchez was one of them. I don't really like the rest. I don't like the makeup of his slash line.
Right.
Gary Sanchez's.
A lot of power.
I have a butter knife. Unless you want to keep rolling that butter knife for you.
Well, I would just say this. This is kind of funny, and I didn't realize it. Last year, he had 6 plate appearances versus lefties. Went hitless.
Yeah.
0 for 6. But if you take that out and you just do his stats versus righties last year, 250, 279, and 811 OPS.
Yeah. He was good versus
How about that?
righties.
How about that?
You want me to butter knife?
How do you like that?
You want me to butter knife something?
Sure.
And then at the end of the
Chop
show,
your dick
you
off.
guys are going to have to tell us.
Put it in a
I
box.
wouldn't use a
Call
butter
yourself
knife. I wouldn't use a
Reek.
butter knife. I would use like a butcher's axe and blindfold. He had 18 games last year where he had 5 plate appearances or more. He had one where he had 1 pinch hit appearance, so I'm taking that off. Okay? Now, we refer to these commonly as nothing games.
Right.
No hits, no runs, no walks, no sack fly, no sack hit, no RBI. How many of the 18 do you think were nothing games? Didn't tick off a single column. Do you have a guess?
1.
That'd be cool. 3.
Okay.
But that's still pretty good for like the average on the year and the on base percentage on the year are not good
Right.
in the small sample size.
Small sample size.
What I've done is I've butter knifed it to show you he was still contributing.
He was able to spread his contributions around.
He was
Do
in
something.
little ways. He contributed from the catcher's position with the bat 83% of the games he played in.
Okay.
Your
I
turn.
would guess all 3 of those were in that first week where he kind of went over the first week.
Yeah, maybe. Well, no, they were in well, yeah, maybe. I
only
have
played
them
September.
September 6th, September 9th, and September 14th.
So far in my rear view.
Yeah. Might be the best butter knife of the show so far.
So let's do something fun. Mix it up.
Do you have another
16th on is
Do
where
you have
the
another
numbers
butter
get
knife?
The Yankees open against the Houston Astros. Is Verlander hurt?
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Probably
Sounds
out
like a few
for
weeks
opening day.
behind.
Yeah.
Probably starts with at least a brief IL.
So that works out perfectly for the Yankees PR construct.
Construct.
Because that means Framber probably starts game 1. So the Yankees can start Trevino and be like, no, Trevi's our guy. Platinum gold glove winner. Sure, we're going to split time with the catchers, but, Trevi's our guy. They can say that.
Catchers always split time.
So he starts against Framber. Then they go like Christian Javier, and that's Wells. And then they probably go back to Trevi, even though it's right on right again.
Sunday going to be a day game after a night.
Is catching Cole a thing?
It's a thing
Right.
for sure. Because if Trevi gets hurt, I think Rortvedt comes up, and then he's definitely catching Cole, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I think so.
At one point this past weekend, which was the first weekend of spring training as we're recording this, Kirshner, one of the beat reporters, made a point to tweet that Wells was catching Cole's bullpen.
You got to do it now. I mean, if they don't,
Yeah.
if they don't do that now, it'll literally never happen. So
You have to do it now. But they're doing it now.
yeah. Okay. Well, I have an over-under for you on him as well. I think there is, we have a Cole on the sheet, but mine would be at bats against lefties because they want to get Trevi at bats, definitely. And you rest your catcher.
Right.
And then the other would be if Rortvedt does come up, they got to get him at bats, blah, blah, blah. No, okay. But, I mean, if you go another year here where he doesn't, like, see any lefties,
Right.
you kind of pigeonhole
Making
him.
a platoon
You're
catcher.
making it. You're turning him into a platoon catcher, which most catchers are platoons these days anyway, because they don't play every day. But is that something that I'm gonna guess he doesn't see a lot of lefties at all?
Yeah, I mean, even Trevi has been better against lefties. Let's say Trevi gets hurt, and then it's him and Rortvet. You probably have Rortvet kind of bite the tough lefty bullet if you really needed it, or just have Cole bully him and whatever. I'll be honest, for this season, it's not super
Paramount.
It doesn't need to be on my radar.
Okay.
Like, if you're Austin Wells for this season, I need you to hit right-handed pitching and not be a liability defensively. Like, if you do that, I'm going to be pretty excited about Austin
I'll
Wells.
be very excited, yeah.
And then I think that would be a 2025 conversation. Like, can Austin...
Let's have him face some lefties this year and find out.
If this Yankees team were, you're going to enter a playoff game, how would you feel against if you're seeing a tough left-handed pitcher and Austin Wells needs to get that start?
How many starts do you think he got last year against a lefty pitcher?
I guess 1 or 2.
One in the majors. A guy named Wade Miley. Yeah.
Tough lefty.
Yeah. Yeah. Ground out to first baseman. No, to the pitcher, sorry. For Wellesley. And then fly ball, left field line. And then Bryce Wilson came in. Yeah, I would see that. I have another over-under for you.
Okay.
Appearances at another position, including DH.
Including DH.
Including designated hitter.
That's a little tricky because that would probably have to mean 3 catchers.
Or everyone else is hurt.
Right, but have we seen the Yankees do...
Yeah, they did it with Higgy and
Catcher and a
Gary.
DH.
They did it with Higgy and Gary a couple times.
Because that limits you, because then you got to do that weird... Like, if you needed Austin Wells to come in, then you've got the pitcher in the lineup. That I think the Yankees live in fear of that a little bit.
Living in fear.
If DH is included, I would say one other spot, and I think it would be DH. I think this year is find out if Austin Wells can play catcher.
Okay.
Because they're not going to have him play first base. I don't think that ends up on the radar this year.
He hasn't done it in a game at any level in pro ball yet.
The only other spin would be, let's say Austin Wells can really hit, and that's nice. But say the catching wasn't happening.
And just to remind everyone, that's been his scouting report.
Right.
Like, the scouting report was, this dude is a major league hitter. He's going to hit at the major league level, but we don't know if he's going to be a catcher.
And I think he had some recent quotes. BBD was saying that he was shouting out Aaron Bossy for some of his catching.
He's a big
abilities.
storyline within the Yankees. Everybody, like, anytime Boone or Cash have been asked about Wellesley, they made a big point how impressed they were with the catching last year, and he's so much more ahead of where they thought he'd be. And he told Brendan Cuddy in an article last week, Aaron Bossy and a different coach, also named Aaron, are the minor league coaches who helped them the most defensively.
Yeah.
And we love Bossy.
So if he can hit, and if Stanton goes down, and if then your other DH options are Grisham, Peraza, whoever, the Yankees, when they had Gary, did DH him a lot when the catcher was, and used both catchers. So there is a likelihood, and we've seen a lot of funky shit happen because a lot of guys get hurt.
Yeah, I guess, a catcher DHing isn't crazy, especially if Wells can hit a little bit. But I think for me it stops there, because if there was another step to that, it would be like, okay, wow, this guy can really hit. You think maybe we could throw him in the corner outfield. We've got that now. Like, between Judge, Doogie, Soto.
Yeah. It would be if Stan gets hurt.
So you think he'll play the outfield?
No, I think he'll DH.
Okay, then yeah, we're saying the same thing.
Yeah. I thought you were saying you didn't think he was going to DH.
No, it's if that world is to happen, the only place he could go is the corner outfield, and there's no availability there.
No, I included DH because I thought it was the only.
Which
option.
I think if that happens, I think he's a trade piece.
If he's DH,
If he can hit, but he can't catch.
Oh, well, I have him. Maybe he can catch too. It's just Stan gets hurt and he's a hitter.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Yankees.
Nobody catches every day.
Yeah,
I think they would use the DH spot how we've traditionally talked about, and they would find it as a way to get Peraza run or some other guys. And I think
what if I said it?
I
at
think this year is going to be
7.5?
focused. I think this year's focus, Austin Wells.
What if I
catch.
said at 4.5 DH games over 162?
Started?
Yeah. For context, Gary Sanchez in 2019 started 15 games at DH,
I would go under.
and then in 2021, Gary did 5 or 6.
I think you could see a couple funky lineups where that happened, but I think they would rather, DH DJ and put Peraza at third or something like that.
Yeah, I think if Wellesley can hit, and Trevino's doing okay, and Stanton goes down, that's like there's nothing crazy there. I wonder if you see him there. I would take the over on 4.5.
4.5.
Seasons get funky.
Seasons get funky and long.
Stands out. Wells can hit. Rortvedt comes up to catch Cole. He DHs for those 2-game stretch.
If you're bringing up the 3 catchers, yeah.
Yeah, that hasn't stopped them from using the catcher before. I think Boone
Yeah,
did
but
too.
I mean, Gary Sanchez,
could hit.
for a while was.
I have Wells hitting in this scenario.
That's great, but
I
mean,
believe in him.
Gary Sanchez hit at
Dubs.
a historic catcher level for a bit.
Yeah. Not in 2019. Come on, Gary. Be a Brewer.
Maybe.
Go
Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook, download the app. You will get a no-sweat bet if you bet on the NBA action. What's no sweat mean? That means if you get it wrong, you'll get back the amount of that bet, up to $1,000 in the form of a bonus bet. So, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code YANKS, and you'll get a no-sweat first bet. Get in on the action today. Download the app.
Baseball projections have him at 252, 314, 449, 762 OPS.
What kind of reliability you got there?
24 in honor of Gary.
Yeah, shout out.
9 home runs. He'll pop 10 in his sleep. Baseball reference, you dummies.
Hit 4 in 19 games. So turn that to 28, 30. So, yeah, 15 home runs. That would be a really nice year.
I am rooting for Austin Wells.
Projecting him for 4 stolen bases. I just don't see that.
Well, he's tail runner.
He steals.
He's tail runner.
I don't see that.
That's a thing with Wellesley. He steals.
He's thinner than you think.
Stolen bases at each level. This isn't by year, but 11, 5, 9, 7, 5, 2. In the minors, he ran a lot.
Career in the minors, 39 steals, 1 caught stealing.
Smart dude.
Who caught him?
Put your heart out, Rizzo.
He had a stretch going back to his freshman year at college. He at one point I think was 55 for 55.
Last year at AAA. Who clipped him? I could find out pretty
Find
quick.
out.
catcher, he
Maybe
kinda
it's
moves.
Rortved's brother. Hey, I random video, and again, just a random video that I butter knifed until I found one I liked. Watch this. Bam.
Sure.
Big homer.
Gone at the
That's
stadium.
random.
Yeah.
That's huge. A little lean back while he does it.
Yeah. He's kind of a pro. Came up and he was kind
He's
of like
kind
all
of a
about being a
pro.
pro. Yeah.
He's
So there you go.
Kind of a pro.
All right. Comment your favorite butter knife of the whole episode.
And maybe your own butter knife if you've got
Take
it.
the over.
And thanks for subscribing.
I'm professional, homie. I'm professional. Franchi Cordero was good at AAA last year.
Huh.
That's weird.
So is Florio.